from CGTN headquarters in Beijing, this is The Hub with Wang Guan.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of The Hub. I'm Huang Jiyuan, sitting in for Wang Guan. China has targeted its full-year economic growth at around 5% for 2025. Is it realistic? Yes. According to high-level Chinese officials, they point out that China has ample leeway to achieve this year's economic and social development goals and tasks despite current uncertainties. How so? That's what I will find out with my panel of economists. I'm joined in Beijing by Wang Yaojing, assistant professor, researcher, and doctoral advisor at the School of Economics of Peking University. In London, the United Kingdom, Iain Begg, professorial research fellow at the European Institute of the London School of Economics and Political Science. And last but not least, in Beijing, Andy Mok, senior research fellow with the Center for China and Globalization. Welcome to the program. Professor Begg, I'd like to start with you on some international economy issues. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has cut forecasts for every major economies for all countries essentially, citing trade tensions and policy uncertainties. Are we at a point of no return on the march towards a more fragmented global economy now?
Well, there is undoubtedly a trend towards fragmentation of economies. It's not just what's coming from Washington. It's also that in Europe you've seen a move towards what's called strategic autonomy, trying to bring things back within the European economies. But I would say that the bigger influence on what's going on is uncertainty. The one thing that's certain about Donald Trump's policies is that they're uncertain. That inherent paradox is something that detracts from the confidence of investors and means that it's very difficult to make decisions at a time when decisions may well be needed. There is the possibility of comparative withdrawal of the US from the global economy and a reorientation around other hubs, Europe and China being the most obvious alternative hubs. And to some extent that is going to happen. But it does leave a big question over the allegiances and trading relationships in the future of other parts of the world, be it India, Latin America, some of the big African countries which are starting to grow. There's a lot of uncertainty around about how this is going to evolve. And that uncertainty, I would say, is what's weighing much more on the global economy than the narrow question of tariffs and the White House strategy.
I've seen an interesting theory online recently, also kind of mimics what you just said. The theory basically says that with these uncertainty and the global upheavals, the global trade order will be separated into three different centers, with the United States, the European Union, and China each acting as a pole in these respective blocks. Professor Wang, what are your thoughts on this? How do you think that will impact the global trading system?
The future potential fragmentation will definitely slow down the efficiency that has been around for years of this globalization. But I think the trend is unstoppable, that there could be other things that would happen that could bring back these countries together. And I don't see why the two hubs, say European countries and China, would not be able to come together and form a large, like a network that combine all the countries that with the manufacturing power, with the market. Say we have India that has the largest population in the world, and we also have a lot of the brain power and innovation technologies in Europe and also in China. And I don't see why they cannot form a new balance in this global trade.
Currently, we're having two sets of sort of opposing forces, with China continue to advocate for opening up and more international integration into the global trading order. And then there's the push for reshoring or decoupling. How do you see China reconcile these two opposing forces here?
Well, that's such a great question. And the way I see it is that China is rerouting, not retreating from globalization. And its message to the US, I think, couldn't be more clear. We will continue to globalize with you or without you. And let me share a couple of very interesting statistics from Ajay Banga, who is the current World Bank president. So he recently noted that global trade has quadrupled in the last 20 years. And the developing world's share of that went from 20% to 40%. But here's the really important part, and I think really the crux of the story. Half of that trade is within the developing world. And China sees this very, very clearly and is playing a central role as an increasingly important market, as a source of capital, as a source of technology, and even as a source of developing governance institutions to facilitate this. So I'm perhaps the most optimistic of our three guests today in that I don't really see it as a fragmenting world. I see that globalization is continuing apace. The question is whether that will be with or without the United States, and that remains to be seen.
Professor Begg, what's your answer to that question, with or without the United States? What do you think?
Well, there's an interesting thought experiment we could undertake, which is to imagine a world in which there's complete autarky. It's an old ancient Greek word meaning no trade whatsoever, where the US withdraws from the world economy. Now, if we take that one step further, the US is self-sufficient in energy. It can feed itself. It can produce most manufacturers, albeit much more expensively than China or some of the other countries from which it imports. So if we had that complete withdrawal of the US from the global economy, who would suffer? Well, short term, many exporters to to the US undoubtedly would. But in the medium term and longer term, a reorientation in the way that Andy Mok has described is not implausible. And I think that we should maybe call Donald Trump's bluff in this and say, is that the way you want to go? Complete autarky? If so, you and the American people are going to suffer, not us.
China's Labor holiday, we've seen record air travels and releases during the period garner high box offices. How do you interpret these trends of heightened travel and booming cultural consumptions here? Mr. Mok, your thought?
No, I would agree. I mean, I think, again, this to me shows the health of the Chinese economy and the health and vitality of Chinese consumers, in that whether this is domestic tourism, international tourism, or even within the city day trips. I mean, if you go around Beijing, it's striking to me how many people are out and about enjoying themselves at shopping centers, at restaurants, at parks. And again, I think this is a very healthy sign and shows the vitality of the Chinese consumer.
Mr. Mok, China's NDRC, the National Development Reform Commission, has recently made announcements on measures to prop up the labor market and boost high-quality development. How will it go about it?
Well, I think if we look at how China has approached similar problems in the past, I think we can see a blueprint for this. So I think the first step is the ability to formulate complex, ambitious, long-term objectives, whether this is in electric vehicles, whether this is in humanoid robots, which many believe will be a replication of China's success in the electric vehicle market, or the low-altitude economy. So these are areas I'm fairly familiar with because I focus on technology. And I think first the ability to formulate ambitious long-term goals, but just as importantly, the ability to carry them out by coordinating and mobilizing all sectors of society. So if we look again briefly with electric vehicles as an example, the subsidies, of course, were very important. But without the ability to roll out nationwide charging infrastructure, this adoption of electric vehicles would not have been as successful. So I think policy coordination at the implementation level is very, very important as well. And I think finally, if we look at the vitality of the private sector in China, and I'll use another quick tech example here. Let's look at artificial intelligence, where most around the world believe that, one, China had fallen behind, and second, you needed enormous amounts of money to buy expensive GPUs and data centers to have world-class models. And yet DeepSeek, not only a Chinese company, but with entirely Chinese locally trained staff, developed a comparable model to the leading ones in the world at a fraction of the cost and made it open source, meaning that anyone around the world, whether you were an individual, a company, or a government, could use it essentially for free. And I think this will have profound ramifications for the global South and play a powerful role in driving a deeper globalization, both from a quantity perspective as well as a quality perspective. And this, of course, I think will be positive for China's labor force as well.
2025 marks the final year of China's 14th five-year plan, which means we're expecting the next five-year plan to map out the blueprint for the next 5 years. What sectors or reform do you think will be placed as a high priority this time, Professor Wang?
Well, there will be two folds to the priorities. One is to address the immediate needs to maintain, say, the current growth trajectory, and the other is for longer-term strategic goals. For the immediate needs, the priorities will include, say, domestic demand, as we discussed, consumption, right, including, say, increasing household income and supporting key consumption sectors. And at the same time, actively managing trade tensions and adapting to the evolving global economic conditions is also part of the priorities. And for the longer term strategic goals, China would be focusing on, as we mentioned, technological innovation, like AI development and semiconductors, robots. So prioritizing these deep tech and frontier technologies can create this new growth engines and also increase China's global competitiveness. And also green and sustainable development is part of the longer term strategy. And China has been pursuing in energy efficiency, green technology, and China will continue to do that for the longer term environmental and economic well-being.
Mr. Mok, what are you most expecting from the next five-year plan from China?
And when we look at the next 5 years in China, I think we can look forward to a couple things. So not only technological advances, but the development of technological ecosystems. So I would say electric vehicles are not just battery technology, but they are the ecosystems of manufacturing, appropriate government policy, building physical infrastructure to support the growth of the industries of the future. So I think robotics certainly will be one ecosystem. I think the low altitude economy will be another one that we will see very exciting developments in China that will emanate from China to the rest of the world. And this is something I'm looking forward to over the next 5 years.
Professor Begg, back to you. What do you expect from this?
Those who continue to regard China as an emerging market are simply wrong. China is now a market leader in many of these areas, and that will only be accentuated with what I'm hearing about the next 5-year plan.
Professor Begg, what is the one thing you think the global leaders should do right now to restore a healthy global economic system?
A simple truth about international trading systems, which is that they are not a zero-sum game. They're a positive-sum game. And bringing that narrative back into the system gives you the justification for the World Trade Organization. It gives you the justification for getting away from this rather strange focus that the US currently has on tariffs. And maybe as a corollary to what I've just been saying, an observation is we might have passed peak Trump.
Mr. Mok?
In terms of qualities, two of the most important things are stability and predictability. And of course, the United States has been a source of the exact opposite of these lately. The third thing is institutional capacity, institutions at the national level and the supranational level, whether that's WTO, BRICS, RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is vital. And I think here, again, the contrast could not be more stark between the United States and China.
Professor Wang?
My one-word answer to that is cooperation. This is how the human race really have succeeded throughout history, and we should probably honor that tradition.
Thank you all for your discussions.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
While this year's May Day holiday gave us a lively look at China's economy, it also highlighted something just as important: how cultural connections are growing between China and the rest of the world. One great example is China-Russia Years of Culture, which was launched last May when Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin met in Beijing. Since then, it's gone far beyond official speeches. Hundreds of real events, from concerts to sports competitions, have brought people from both countries closer together. And today, we're about to see that spirit coming to life with top figure skaters from Russia joining hands with their Chinese peers on ice. Evgenia, welcome back to Beijing.
Thank you.
How many times have you been here?
I guess it's third time.
The third time?
Yeah.
Does it feel different this time after COVID, after many years of not being here?
Actually, my first time was when it was the Olympics during the COVID and Olympics 2022.
Yeah, Beijing Winter Olympics.
Then after this, I came here for the master classes.
Yes.
And I explored everything. So finally, I was able to see the city. And now it's a totally different feeling because, well, we have a lot of rehearsals, and I had no opportunity yet to see the city once again. So, yeah.
I'm sure the organizers will take care of you.
Yeah, I'm sure too.
How do you like the hospitality and then the warmth that you can feel in the stadium from the Chinese fans? You have lots of followers on Chinese social media, millions. How do you like that?
I like it. First of all, a lot of people was in Chiban when we was skating now. So, and I'm expecting on the same on the second show today.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of applause, a lot of screams of support. I like it.
This year is the year of China, Russia sports,
Yeah.
and we have good relations. We're good neighbors. Your president is a big fan of winter sport. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much into politics, but this year has been a good year of China-Russia sports communication.
That's true. Yeah.
What do you think about, what did you learn from your Chinese skaters, and what do you think they have learned from you guys?
Well, you know, unfortunately, we're not communicating so much yet with the Chinese figure skaters because during my competitions, like few years ago, let's say, I just was able to communicate only with Sui Han, the pair skaters.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess that's it. Maybe Zijun Li, the girl from the China. So, and now it's a little bit more difficult because not a lot of Chinese girls are speaking English.
That's unfortunate.
But I think it takes time. So in the future, we will be able to communicate.
Let's talk about your career, if you don't mind, which is fascinating.
Let's talk about it.
It has been fantastic, perfect.
Thank you.
But many fans would have liked it if you could have grabbed the Olympic title in 2018 in Pyeongchang, Korea. You were so close. And then because of an injury, to the large extent?
I don't think that injury affected on the result, because like I did my best, like the best short program, my best free program, so I couldn't do any more. So it is what it is. I just keep going in my life.
You think your 16-year-old peer just performed well instead of you not being the best? I mean, you think you did what you could have done at that time, despite the injury previously?
No, I did everything that was in my power and that I had to do. So I was like maximum plan, and I did the best. So.
But you won everything else. I mean,
Yeah.
There are very few.
Twice. I was lucky
Back
to
to
win
back.
twice.
First ever.
Yeah.
Was it hard to keep the shape and form and
No,
keep
it
winning
was so much
back-to-back
fun. You know
world
what?
champions?
It was so much fun because I had the power, I had the feeling that I can do this. And one time, and even the second time, I was like fierce. And I was so lucky that at that time I had no injuries. That at that time I had really amazing skaters around of me. So the greatest skaters, and such as Mao Asada. A lot of greatest figure skaters was around of me that was motivating me. So there was like the idols for me, and I was lucky to follow them. And maybe because I saw them, I had such result in the competitions.
In the competitive world of figure skating, where Russian prodigy Medvedeva reigns supreme, Elizaveta Takmacheva has been a paragon of consistency and longevity. She captivates audiences with her ability to seamlessly weave a compelling narrative on the ice, showing that figure skating is as much about artistry as it is about athleticism. Lisa, you have a big following in China. To start with, do you want to say anything to your Chinese fans?
Yes, of course. I want to say what I'm really happy to be here, and China is a special place for me because I have a gold medal in the World Championships here, and a lot of gold medals in Shanghai and Grand Prix. And the fans is really great. Every time when I go to China, I have a lot of presents. So I'm really happy that I came to Beijing again, and I hope my fans gonna enjoy my skating and enjoy every skate.
I know it's very private, but are the gifts from the Chinese fans different from gifts of others?
Yeah, it's more like Chinese. It's like with the culture. They give the presents with like pandas, like something like this. And when you see the gifts, you can understand what is gifts from China, because it's like I don't know, but it's good, really good.
And then be back to China. How many times have you been to China?
Around 5 times, I think.
5 times. How does it feel this time around, after so many years of COVID, of not being able to travel here?
I have a lot of emotions because I don't travel a lot right now, and go to China, it's like new breath for me, because it's a big city, big country, and it feels a little bit different because yes, we have like COVID and a lot of stuff, and now I look to this country a little bit different, more emotions, and I'm really enjoying.
We're going to see a whole lot of events such as this one, helping each other develop their sports skills, figure skating, ice skating. How do you feel about the increased cooperation between the Chinese and the Russians in sport?
I think this is good, but we are help to each other, and we have a good friendship between our countries. And I want to change this. People and sportsmen come to Russia now, because now we came to you, and after you should come to us. It's too cold. Yeah, it's too cold. Yeah, that's true. Maybe in summer or autumn. So yeah, I think it's works for everybody.
When you were competing, there weren't a lot of Chinese contenders to you, right? At your heyday, at the time when you were winning gold medals in the World Championships, Grand Prix, You were mostly facing, if I remember correctly, Russians, your fellow Russians, and then Americans, Koreans. Were there a lot of Chinese contenders that were competing with you at the time, back in the day?
I don't think so. It was like, Americans and Japanese.
After Chen Lu, I think we somehow lost steam.
Yes, after Chen Lu, yes, I remember her. She was a good athlete. But yeah, we should help. But I hope now they will.
That's reality. That's reality.
They will grow the new stars of figure skating.
And then, how come there are so many great Russia figure skaters? I mean, the competition was really fierce back in Russia. But how fierce was the competition growing up as a Russia figure skater?
It's fierce, a lot, and we have a lot of competition to each other. And if you want to be a star, you should work more. You see every day what we have a lot of girls, and they do like extremely good elements. And if you want to be a star, if you want to be in the first place, you should do the same. And that's why you grow up more faster than if you don't see a sportsman like that. So it's all about all about competition.
You have the best 3 lutes. Many think you have the best one.
Oh, thank you.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it because I like this jump, and I like how I feel in this jump, and I like how it looks because it's like a little bit more powerful jump than another one. Okay,
let's talk about China. Any aspect of the Chinese culture that you like so far, or?
I like panda.
You'll be seeing them.
Yeah,
in Chengdu, right? Our crew really wanted you to teach me something.
I will show you the easiest jump. So stay like this and go from left foot and jump to the right foot. Wow, and landing. Very good.
More difficulty.
More difficulty. It was so easy to you. Bump and go. And land. And almost. It's difficult.
Nice one.
It's difficult.
Thank you so much.
But you're so good. Thank you.